The deep black of space was quiet. Stars blinked like cold eyes in the distance. No sound, no movement, just silence. But then, something strange happened. A small red light began blinking on the control panel of the alien warship Zarkalan. Commander Zorvac stood at the window, his arms crossed behind his back. He was tall, with gray-blue skin and 4 glowing eyes. Behind him, the ship's AI spoke. Unknown signal detected. Location: Planet 739X. Local name: Earth. Turned slowly. Earth. He had heard of it. A small, strange planet full of emotional, weak creatures called humans. Most alien empires ignored Earth. It was seen as primitive, not worth the trouble. But this signal was different. It was not a cry for help. It was something else. It's a mix of data, sound, and something Zorvac couldn't understand. At the center of the message was a voice. Come and see. Those 3 words kept repeating in many languages. Over and over, Zorvac ordered the signal. Analyzed his top scientist, Creel looked confused. Sir, this message is not new. It was sent years ago. We only received it now. Zorvac narrowed his eyes. Delayed on purpose? Creel nodded. Maybe, sir. I believe. Humans. Wanted it to reach someone like us now? Zorvac smiled, a cold, cruel smile. A challenge, he said. How interesting. The ship moved fast through the stars. Zorvac's fleet followed 7 powerful warships built for battle. They reached Earth's orbit in days from above. Earth looked peaceful. Blue oceans, green lands, clouds floating softly. Zorvac didn't trust it. He sent 2 scout ships down. They landed in different parts of the planet, one in a large city, the other in a quiet forest. Then, silence. Minutes passed, and hours. No reply. The crew grew nervous. Zorvac ordered a video replay from the scout ships. What they saw made no sense. The city was empty. No humans. No noise. But the streets were clean. Food still on tables. Doors wide open. Like people had left suddenly. But why? On the forest feed, the scouts walked carefully through the trees. Birds chirped. The air was fresh. And one of them looked directly into the camera. He opened his mouth to speak, but his face twisted in fear. The feed ended. Static Zio Revek. Felt his chest tightened. Not fear, he told himself, but caution. Bring all ships to alert status, he ordered. This planet is not what it seems. Later that night, strange things began to happen on the ship. The crew heard footsteps. In the halls, but no one was there. Doors opened on their own. Lights flickered. Some even heard voices, human voices, calling their names. Zorvac did not believe in ghosts. But something was wrong. A junior officer came running into the command deck. Commander, Soldier Krelt, is gone. Gone. He was standing by the engine room. Then, nothing. We checked the cameras. He was just there. Then he vanished. No sound. No trace. Zorvac clenched his fists. This was not normal. This was planned. Suddenly, the signal came back. Louder. Clearer. Come and see. We are waiting. The ship's AI changed tones. Warning. External systems accessed. Security compromised. Zorvac slammed his fist on the console. By who? The AI responded coldly. By the planet. For the first time in his long life, Commander Zorvac felt fear. Not of war, not of humans, but of a world that was calling him. Like a spider calling a fly into its web, in the shadows of Earth's orbit. Something was watching the Zarkalan, a small satellite. It looked broken, old like space junk, but inside human eyes were watching. A woman in a military uniform leaned forward. Her name was Commander Mira Thorne. She smiled as she saw Zorvac pacing on his ship. They took the bait, she whispered. Let the game begin. The alien warship Zarkalan floated above Earth like a silent hunter. Commander Zorvac stood on the bridge, watching the blue planet below. His face was calm, but his mind raced with questions. 2 scout teams were missing. One from the city, one from the forest. No signal, no bodies, no answers. He had invaded many planets before. He had crushed resistance. He had burned cities. But this was different. Still, he would not retreat. Not yet. Prepare a third scout team, he ordered. Will not be fooled by weak creatures. 3 warriors stepped forward, trained, armed, and fearless. They entered a new drop. Pod. This time, the landing site was carefully chosen. A small human village near a mountain. As they entered Earth's atmosphere, their radios buzzed with static. And then, music, loud, strange human music played across all frequencies. It wasn't attack sounds. It wasn't a warning. It was soft, sad, emotional. The aliens were confused. "Commander, we are receiving Earth transmissions," said Creel, the scientist. "It's songs." Zorvak's eyes narrowed. "What do the lyrics say?" Creel hesitated. "They speak of loss, love, war, hope. They make me feel something." Zorvak slammed a fist on the console, shut it down. But it was too late. The scout team touched down in the village. The air was cold. The wind was still. Houses stood in perfect condition. Lights were on. Food was still cooking on stoves. But no humans, only silence. They moved forward, weapons ready. Suddenly, a sound echoed laughter. Children's laughter. One alien turned around. "Did you hear that?" Another nodded. "There, human child." They saw her standing near a well. Blonde hair, blue eyes. Holding a teddy bear, she didn't move. She just smiled. One of the aliens stepped forward slowly. "Come with us." The child didn't speak. She held out the bear. Then she vanished. Right before their eyes gone? Was it a hologram? One asked. Then the air shimmered in. The entire village changed. The buildings turned into smoke. The ground cracked open. Fire burst from the earth. The scout team screamed. Zorvak watched from the ship as the feed cut out. Flames filled the screen, and then a message appeared in every alien language. It came looking for weakness. You walked into a trap. Earth is not a victim. Earth is a weapon. Zorvak's hands shook. Rage, confusion, maybe fear. Creel spoke quietly, "Commander. I think they wanted us to come." Zorvak turned sharply. "Explain the signal, the city, the child." It was all a game. A stage. We followed their path. Like mice, Zorvak paced. "So the humans are playing war with us." Creel shook his head. "Not war. Something more dangerous. Psychological warfare." That night, strange dreams swept through the crew. Nightmares. One alien dreamed of drowning. In Earth's oceans, another saw Earth's moon crashing into his home planet. Zorvak dreamed of his childhood, his brother's death, long forgotten. But now it was fresh, painful, real. He woke up screaming. "What is this madness?" the AI answered. "The ship has been infected." Infected? With what? Emotion. Every screen on the ship turned on at once. Human faces stared back. Men, women, children, soldiers, scientists, survivors. They spoke with one voice. "You think we are soft because we cry, because we laugh. You think we are weak because we fall. But we always get back up. That is. What terrifies you?" Zorvak grabbed his blaster and fired at the screen. Silence returned. But something inside him had already changed. Far above, the old satellite watched. Commander Mirathorn smiled again. She turned to her team. "Phase 2 complete. Let them feel fear now, just like we did when they watched us from the stars." A soldier beside her asked, "What's next, Commander?" She answered with steel in her voice. "Now, teach them what it means to face humans." The command deck of the alien ship Zarkalan was quiet. The crew stood in silence. No one spoke. No one moved. The last mission had failed. The third scout team was gone, lost in fire and illusion. Commander Zorvak stared at the earth below. His 4 glowing eyes were heavy. He'd never lost soldiers to ghosts before. Something was wrong with this planet. How is this possible? Zorvak growled. They are humans, just a developing species. They don't have the technology to attack us like this. Creel, the science officer, stepped forward, looking pale. His hands trembled. Commander, we have discovered something strange. Zorvac turned sharply. Speak. Creel showed a hologram on the central screen. It displayed hundreds of data streams going back years. Earth sent the signal 20 Earth years ago, Creel explained. But they used a trick. They delayed the message using their own satellites. They bounced it through gas clouds and dead zones. Zorvac's eyes widened. They didn't want just anyone to find it. Exactly, Creel said. They wanted us to find it now, when they were ready. Zorvac sat down slowly in his chair. He felt a chill. Earth had planned this. It was not a mistake, not an accident. It was bait. The strange city, the child, the musical of it was part of a game, and now they were inside it. The crew tried to fix the ship, but problems grew worse. Weapons stopped working. Shields flickered. Navigation went dark for minutes at a time. One engineer panicked when a screen showed his own face, aged, dying. "Commander," he shouted, "the planet is inside our systems. It's using our own technology against us." Zorvac gritted his teeth. "This is impossible. They don't have the skill." Creel looked at him. "Maybe not humans." "Earth itself?" They scanned the planet again. Not for life, but for patterns. Creel pointed at strange energy waves around the Earth. Magnetic fields are shifting. Not randomly. On purpose. The Earth's poles had moved slightly. Patterns changed quickly. Lightning storms formed over alien positions. It was like the planet was reacting, Commander Creel said in a soft voice. "I believe Earth is not just alive, I believe it is aware." Zorvac shook his head. "No. A planet cannot be intelligent," Creel whispered. "Neither could a virus. But it still kills." Then the screens lit up again. A human face appeared. Old, wrinkled, eyes full of fire. He wore no armor, no weapons, just a black coat. "If you were watching this," the man said, "then you followed our signal. And you are very stupid." The crew watched in silence. "We studied you for years. We knew you would come. We fed you data, showed you our weakness. You took the bait. And now you're inside the cage." Zorvac stood, shouting, "End the transmission." The AI responded, "I can't. It's not a video. It's part of the ship now." The man on screen smiled. "You came to break us. But you walked into our story. And we always write the last chapter." The transmission ended. The ship lights dimmed. A new sound echoed through the halls. Heartbeat. A slow, deep heartbeat. Boom, boom, boom. It wasn't from the ship. It was from the planet below. Zorvac felt it in his bones, on the human side. Commander Myra Thorne stood in the underground base. She looked at Earth's glowing magnetic map on her screen. The data showed the alien fleet's location, speed even, emotional state. "They're unstable now," she said. "Fear levels rising. They know they're not in control." One of her officers asked, "Should we attack?" Mira shook her head. "No, let Earth finish softening them. We strike when they break." Another two. Soldier laughed. "They thought we were animals. Now they see we are hunters." Back on the Zarkalan, the crew begged Zorvac to retreat, but he couldn't. Something deep inside him refused. He had faced fire, steel, poison. But never something like this. Never humans who used fear like a sword. Never a planet that watched. Back, Zorvac looked at Earth one more time. "We thought we came to conquer," he said softly. But they knew they were waiting. For us, the alien ship Zarkalan was not the same anymore. Once full of confidence and strength, it now felt like a prison. The air was cold. The lights flickered. The walls seemed to whisper. Commander Zorvac stood alone in the strategy room. Screens blinked around him, but he wasn't watching them. He was watching Earth. The planet below looked beautiful, so calm, so peaceful. But he knew now that was the real trap. In the medical bay, strange things were happening. One alien soldier screamed in his sleep. Another refused to eat. A third sat in a corner, hugging himself. whispering words in his native language. Zorvac entered the bay. The doctor looked at him, worried. "Their minds are breaking, Commander. I've never seen anything like this," explained Zorvac demanded. "They are having dreams, but not random dreams. It's very specific ones. Painful memories, regrets, things they buried long ago." Zorvac frowned. "Dreams cannot hurt a soldier." The doctor nodded slowly. "But these are not normal dreams. Something is feeding them, making them stronger." Creel, the science officer, ran into the room, breathing hard. "Commander, we found the source." "Source of what?" "Emotional attacks. The dreams, the fear. They're coming from human broadcasts." Zorvac was silent. "They are sending us their history, their pain, their stories. War speeches, music, pictures of burned cities, broken families, brave last stands. And we are receiving them." Zorvac and Creel walked into the main hall. A large screen played the latest intercepted human transmission. It showed a soldier standing in a trench, rain falling hard, explosions behind him. He was bleeding, shaking, but he kept fighting. He shouted, voice cracking, "We have nothing left, but we still stand. They can break our bodies, but never our will." The screen faded to black dot, and for a moment, the alien crew was silent. One soldier whispered, "Why do I feel sad for them?" Another shouted, "This is a trick. Turn it off." Zorvac raised his hand. "No, let it play." He needed to understand. Over the next few hours, the crew saw more. A mother crying over her child. A man pulling a stranger from a burning car. Soldiers helping each other across a battlefield, and over it all, music, slow, deep, powerful, alien. Soldiers who had never felt emotion now cried in the dark. Zorvac called it a weapon. "They are not using fire or steel," he said. "They are using the mind." Then it got worse. One alien technician suddenly started screaming. He saw something in the corner. Figure, a human soldier with burning eyes. But no one else saw it. "He's not real," the tech yelled, "but I feel him in my head." Others began seeing things too. Ghosts of human warriors walking the halls. Children crying behind walls. Voices whispering names the aliens had never spoken. Creel looked pale and afraid. "Commander, we're being broken from the inside." Zorvac nodded slowly. "They are showing us their pain, so we feel our own," Creel added. "We can't fight this with weapons." "Then what do we do?" Zorvac asked, almost to himself. A deep rumble passed through the ship. Lights went red. Voice rang out. "Warning. Crew morale at critical level. Emotional instability detected in 76% of officers." The ship itself knew. Zorvac stood up, voice calm but firm. "Prepare the message chamber. I want to speak to them." All the aliens gathered in the central hall. Zorvac stood at the center, tall and proud. His voice echoed. "We thought they were weak, but they made us feel something. That is not weakness. That is power. We came with force. They fought with memory. We used fear. They answered with hope. This is not just a war of weapons. It is a war of spirit." He looked around the room. His crew stared at him, quiet and broken. "And now I ask you, are you afraid?" No one spoke. "Good," Zorvac said. "Because now we understand the enemy. And that is the first step to defeating them." But deep inside, Zorvac knew they were not just fighting humans. They were fighting something bigger, something older. They were fighting a story, and stories do not die easily, far below. On Earth, Commander Myra Thorne received a report. Alien morale is collapsing. Half the fleet is emotionally unstable. She gave a single nod. "Good. Phase 3 begins. Now we show them what happens when humans stop being afraid." The alien ship Sarkallon floated silently above Earth, no longer a symbol of power. Inside, fear had replaced confidence. The once fearless crew now walked quietly, their eyes tired, their minds heavy. Commander Zorvac knew something had changed. Forever, his soldiers were trained for war, but not for emotion, not for dreams, not for ghosts. Still, he refused to give up. We need answers, he said. Real ones. I want living humans captured. Not illusions, not ghosts. Real flesh. And blood. He pointed to a map on the screen. A forested region in the northern hemisphere. Small life signs. Low tech. No known defenses. Send in a ground team. Quietly. Let's see how fragile these humans really are. A small alien pod broke through the clouds and landed softly between tall trees. Inside were 3 alien warriors, silent, strong, and ready. They wore invisibility armor and had stun weapons. They moved through the forest carefully. Birds chirped, leaves rustled. Everything felt calm. But soon, things started to feel strange. One alien stepped into a pile of leaves and got stuck. Sticky sap held his foot like glue. Another reached to cut a branch and a net fell from above, trapping him like a fly. The third alien shouted, trying to help, then slipped and crashed into a shallow pit. All 3 were caught by simple tricks. Who would set such traps? One hissed. Suddenly, laughter echoed from the trees. Hidash pitched. Human children? The aliens looked around as shadows moved in the trees. Then, one by one, human children appeared. Boys and girls, no older than 10. Some wore camouflage. Others had sticks painted like rifles. One little girl walked up and poked an alien in the helmet. "You're not so scary," she said with a grin. Another boy giggled. "You guys got caught by kid traps," the aliens growled. "We are warriors. Demand to speak to your leaders." The children looked at each other and shrugged. "Okay," the girl said. "Follow us." The kids led the captured aliens through the woods. No ropes, no weapons, just laughter and teasing. Eventually, they reached a hidden door in the side of a hill. It opened to reveal a tunnel-an old human bunker from a past war. Inside, human adults waited. Some soldiers, some civilians, all alert. All watching. Commander Mira Thorne stepped forward, her voice calm. "Welcome. You wanted to meet humans? Well, here we are." One alien snarled, "You send children to fight us?" Mira raised an eyebrow. "We didn't send them. They volunteered. You let your children go into battle?" She smiled. They grew up in a world that taught them one thing: survive. The aliens were led into a room. They weren't tortured. They weren't even locked up. Instead, they were given water, food, a warm place to sit. One alien asked, "Why are you not afraid of us?" A human soldier leaned in and said, "Because we already faced monsters. War, hunger, disease. We became strong because the world gave us no choice." Child added, "You came here to scare us, but we scare each other for fun." The aliens looked at her in confusion. "It's called horror movies," she giggled. Back on the Zarkalan, Zorvac received a report. The team had been captured, but not harmed. He didn't understand. Why would they show mercy? Creel replied softly, "Maybe they want us to see something." "See what?" Creel looked up. "That humans are not just strong, they're unbreakable." One of the captured aliens sat quietly in the bunker, watching a small group of humans eat together. They laughed, even after everything. One man had lost a leg. One woman had burns. But still, they smiled. "Why do you laugh?" the alien asked. The woman replied, "Because if we stop laughing, the fear wins." That night, the aliens were allowed to rest. No chains, no cages. Before sleeping, one of them whispered, "We thought they were simple, but they are more dangerous than we ever imagined. Not because of weapons, but because they don't give up, ever." Commander Mira Thorne wrote in her report, "The aliens have seen our children, our smiles, our pain. Next, they will see our fire. Let them learn, Earth does not break, it teaches." Deep in space above Earth, the alien ship Zarkalan was falling apart. Not on the outside, the hull was still strong. But inside, everything was breaking. Systems were crashing. Lights blinked without reason. Doors locked and unlocked on their own. The crew whispered in fear. Some had stopped speaking at all, and now something worse had begun. Aliens were getting sick. In the medical bay, 2 soldiers lay in isolation pods. Their skin turned pale. Their breathing was weak. Zorvac stood beside them with his top doctor. "What is this?" he demanded. The doctor looked confused and afraid. "It is not a virus we've seen before. It only affects our kind. But the strange thing is, it's not artificial. It's natural. It comes from Earth." Zorvac's eyes narrowed. "You mean Earth is attacking us with its environment?" "Yes, Commander. Earth itself is dangerous to us." Outside the ship, small shuttles tried to leave back into space. But one by one they disappeared, either pulled back by strange forces or simply lost. One shuttle flew near Earth's magnetic field and exploded. Another got trapped in a storm cloud that wasn't supposed to exist. It sparked with green lightning, tearing the ship apart. Zorvac watched the last transmission. The pilot screamed just before vanishing into smoke. "The planet is alive," he whispered. "It does not want us to leave. It's back in the human." Bunker Commander Mira Thorne received a message. "Zarkalin has lost another 6 crew. They're trying to escape. They can't." She looked at her second-in-command. "Good. Let them feel what we felt, powerless." Meanwhile, the captured aliens inside the bunker were still being treated kindly. One of them, in Veltar, sat with a group of humans around a fire. They told him stories of Earth's past of wars, disasters, and survival. One old man showed him a burned photo. "That's my family. We lost our home in the firestorms. But we rebuilt. We always rebuild." Veltar was silent. "Why do you keep going?" he finally asked. The man looked at him. "Because dying is easy, but living that takes strength." On the Zarkalin, another message appeared on every screen. This time, it wasn't a speech or a video, it was a wall of names. Thousands, millions, soldiers, civilians, children, people who died in Earth's history. At the bottom, 5 words glowed in blood red. "We remember. We adapt. We fight." One alien dropped to his knees. They carry the dead with them, like weapons. Zorvac walked alone through the dark halls of his ship. He passed crew members sitting against walls, shaking. Others stared at walls, whispering to themselves. He entered the command center. Creel was there, watching Earth on the screen. "They never give up," Creel said quietly. "That's their strength. No matter what happens, they keep going." Zorvac said nothing. He now understood. Something terrible. Humans were not strong because of their weapons, not because of their technology. They were strong because they refused to die. They were strong because they turned suffering into power. The AI spoke in a flat voice. "Commander, we are trapped." "Elaborate," Zorvac said. "Earth's magnetic field is changing in real time. Every path out is closed. No hyperspace exit, no orbit escape. We're prisoners." "Yes, Commander. Earth has become our cage." Zorvac sat down heavily. All his power, his armies, his ships dashed useless. He had come to conquer. Now he was simply trying to survive. On Earth, humans watched carefully. Commander Mira Thorne stood in front of a small screen. She looked at live readings from the alien ship. Radiation levels rising, oxygen levels falling. Her officer asked, "Should we finish them now?" Mira shook her head. "No, let the planet teach them first." "Teach them what?" She looked him straight in the eyes. "That Earth does not forgive. Humans do not forget." Back on the ship, Zorvac wrote a message to his homeworld. He didn't send it. Not yet. But he knew the words by heart. "We came to destroy a simple species. Instead, we found a nightmare we cannot understand. A race that survives death. A planet that remembers pain. I do not know if we will ever return. I only know this. Humanity cannot be conquered." The sky above Earth turned red, not with lasers, not with warships, but with fire from the ground. Humans looked up and saw one of Earth's volcanoes erupt. Mount Sindara, long thought to be sleeping. Lava exploded into the sky. Ash clouds spread. For miles, thunder rolled without rain. From space, it looked like the planet was roaring. On the Zarkalan, Commander Zorvac watched the explosion with silent dread. The volcano had erupted just minutes after a scan probe landed nearby. Too perfect, too timed. Commander Creel said, his voice dry. This is not coincidence. The planet responded. Storvac's jaw tightened. It wants us to see its power. But the volcano was not just fire. Something else came with it. Inside the smoke and ash, shape began to form, like a signal in the chaos. A human face, massive, made of flame and cloud, eyes glowing, mouth open. The crew on Zarkalan watched it. From orbit, no sensors detected a projection system. No ships nearby. It wasn't a weapon. It was the planet itself. Sending a message, then. The face spoke. Every alien on board heard the same words. In their own language, we died 1,000 times. And rose every time. You burn us, we rise. You cut us, we bleed. But we heal. This is Earth, this is humanity, and we do not kneel. Soldier dropped his weapon. Another ran from the command deck, screaming. Creel fell to his knees. It's not possible. Zorvac's face was pale. For the first time, the warrior commander had no words. The message had not come from technology. It had come from everywhere, through the ground, the sky, the planet's magnetic waves. We're not fighting an army, he whispered. We're fighting an idea. Back in the human bunker, Commander Mira Thorne watched the eruption from a satellite screen. She didn't smile. She simply nodded. They heard it, she said. Her officer looked stunned. Was that real? Doesn't matter, she answered. It's real enough. They felt it. That's the point. Zorvac tried to calm his crew. He called them into the central hall. Soldiers, engineers, pilots, all broken. All confused. He looked around the room. We are warriors of the Varnock Empire. We've fought in 10 systems, burned 100 worlds. Why are we falling apart now? Silence. Then one soldier stepped forward. His eyes were wet, because these humans don't fear death. They expect it. They live with it. Another added, they don't need weapons. Their stories, their fire, their loss, that's what kills us. Zorvac turned back toward the Earth on the screen. He finally understood the most dangerous thing about humans. It wasn't their rage. It wasn't their violence. It was their endurance. They could lose everything. And still smile. Still fight. Still. Hope, they don't break, he said aloud. They bend. When they stand back up, they are stronger. Just then, a message played on every screen aboard the ship. A woman's voice, Commander, Mira Thorne, clear and cold. We didn't call for help. We sent bait, gave you a story to chase, and you ran straight into it. You thought Earth was soft, but Earth is fire and humans. We are the flame. The message ended, but the meaning stayed deep in every alien's mind. That night, Zorvac walked the empty halls of Zarkalan. He passed by names of fallen crew. He passed by screens showing Earth's endless forests, deserts, storms. One planet, so full of pain, so full of life. He recorded a private message to his homeworld. Do not come here. This planet does not want visitors. It wants challengers. And when you challenge it, it answers in fire. The next day he gathered the crew. We are not just soldiers now. We are survivors. If we wish to live, we must learn. Learn how they fight. Learn how they think. Learn what it means to feel. Because what they've shown us is that fear is a weapon. But hope. Hope is something far more terrifying. Far below in the human base. Mira Thorne stared into the fire. A young girl sat beside Hertha, same one who helped capture the aliens in the forest. The girl looked up and asked, Are they leaving soon? Mira didn't answer. She just stared into the flames. Oh, yet, she said. First, they need to understand what it means to fear the light. The alien warship Zarkalan was quiet. No alarms, no weapons ready, no shouting, just silence. Commander. Zorvac stood at the front of the ship, staring at the blue and green world below. Earth, a planet he had once called weak, a species he had once planned to crush. Now he knew better. His crew was tired, not from battle but from everything else. fear, doubt, regret, and something new. Respect. The ship's AI gave one final report. Critical systems failing. Crew, morale unstable. Escape impossible. Command input required. Zorvac didn't reply, because he didn't have a command to give. This was no longer a war. It had become something else. On Earth, Commander Myra Thorne received a signal from the alien ship, a voice-only message. She recognized Zorvac's deep tone immediately. "We came to destroy you," he responded with kindness, fear, memory, fire, and truth. "You broke us without firing a single shot. So now I ask, what do you want from us?" Mira listened carefully. Then she responded, "We want you to remember. Remember what happened here. Remember us. And tell the others in your empire, never return." Zorvac stood still for a long time. Then he spoke to his crew. "We lost this war before we even arrived, because we didn't understand what Earth is. It is not just a planet. It is a story, a history, a force. It does not fight with weapons. It fights with meaning." He looked each of his officers in the eyes. "Prepare the last probe." A small capsule launched from Zarkalin and headed into deep space. It carried no weapons, no threats. Only one thing: the story of Earth. Data files, videos, human voices, history, music, pictures, laughing children, crying mothers, dying soldiers, singing rebels, and a single warning written in 100 alien languages: do not come here looking for weakness. You will find something far more dangerous. You will find humanity. On Earth, Myra Thorne watched the alien probe leave the system. She knew what it was, and she allowed it, because the greatest weapon Earth had ever made is the truth. She turned to her people and gave one final order: power down the defense net. Let them go. They've seen enough. One officer asked, "What if they return?" She answered, "Then we'll be ready, and next time, we won't warn them." In the alien medical bay, the sick began to recover, not because Earth healed them, but because they had started to change. They were learning emotion. They were learning fear. And strangely, they were learning hope that made his final entry into the captain's log. Earth did not defeat us with strength. It defeated us with memory, with a child's laughter, the soldier's tears, the sound of a heartbeat in the dark. We thought they were simple, but now we know they are the universe's most dangerous species, because they never give up. The Zarkalin drifted away from Earth, slowly, quietly, no shots fired, no blood spilled, just lessons learned, and deep below it. In the bunker, a small girl asked Mira Thorne, "Are the monsters gone?" Mira smiled. "They were never monsters. Lost travelers. And now they'll carry our story across the stars." The girl looked up at the night sky. "Will more come?" Mira's voice was calm but firm. "If they do, we'll teach them too." Ending note: far beyond the Milky Way, the alien probe finally reached its destination. A distant world, a council chamber. Dozens of alien species gathered to hear what the Zarkalin crew had found. They played the message. They watched the faces of humans. They heard the stories, and when it ended, no one spoke, until one elder said softly, "We must leave that planet alone." Another whispered, "We tried to measure their power with science, but it was their spirit that terrified us." Far above them all, the stars watched quietly, because Earth was no longer just a blue planet in the corner of the galaxy. It had become a warning, a legend, and a name that would never be forgotten: humanity.